I'm going to show you a picture of an ISTP personality type, which is going to be interesting because ISTP's mind is not always easy to understand because they're using introverted thinking, which is thinking internally. But what's interesting with them, they use extroverted sensing, and extroverted sensing is really taking information through five senses. And it sounds very easy, describing what you see and so on. But when you put senses with an introverted thinking, when they start working together, the 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 combination of these two become very powerful, and it shouldn't be underestimated actually. And you will come to understand why this combination is essential to actually living in the wild, for example, and so on. So ISTP and ESTP are known to do sports and engage in different activities and so on because they're using primarily their or secondary, depending on type, their senses, and so they're action oriented. They want to engage with new stimuli such as people, food, adventures, and so on. So they are um, sensory seeker, pleasure seeker individual, and when I say they are pleasure seeker individual, it shouldn't be misunderstood as they don't take responsibilities and so on. So it's just to say that they want to engage with the environment, and so, because they're using their senses to understand the world. So they understand the world concretely through practical means and to engaging with them. So the theory comes secondary to this type. But what is interesting now, I'm gonna try to show you at least, and this is for me a bit hard to take this apart, what he's seeing, because the function, like I said, they color each other so much, and sometimes we need more information to see what function they are really using and so on. So, but I'm gonna try, at least I hope at least to get the purpose and not necessarily being 100% accurate, as cause this is not really done as much. This is not something people will learn you more or less unless you're a Jungian analyst. So it's something you have to engage in yourself and actually learn how to do this. And so I'm not saying that everything is going to be 100% correct, but I'm going to at least try to see it from my lens and try to take away the function in this writing. So I'm going to show you the picture. So this is an ISTP. So I'm gonna start with the first sentence. All the colors of the rainbow are in it. Now, if you see the picture, I mean, when the person says all the colors of the rainbow are in it, a person I can already immediately tell is highly attuned to discrepancy between colors, because it's not an easy thing to see that all the rainbow colors are in it, because in this picture the colors are, at least from my view, is not very uh, very well separated. It blends together. It sort of it has this gradients rather than being separated. But so when it says all the colors of the rainbow are in it, I can already immediately tell this person has a highly attuned to the senses. But the fact that he's saying all the colors of the rainbow, it makes me question that this is colored by intuition, forming relationship. Sensing alone though doesn't form any relationship at all. It just focus on describing what is being seen. But he can, since he's relating it to something, I would say that this is like the SENI axis, in that he's informed by his sensing, but his intuition has helped him towards understanding what he's seeing. And intuition, we have to remember that is about forming relationship and seeing beyond what is immediate. So we come with weird representation, symbolic language of something. So because this person is an ISTP, is a sensor, he doesn't do this. He sticks with the data, but his intuition is providing him at least with some form of a relationship. And it says the tree that was blown down has new growth on it, so it is spring, not autumn. This we can see the tree was blown down, has new grown on it, so it is spring, not autumn. This is as well extroverted sensing with slight introverted intuition, but I would say it's more sensing with introverted thinking. And I say this is because he doesn't know if the tree was blown down. It could be a person pulling the tree down. It could be, and so on. So he's forming a meaning behind what he's seeing. So, but he's still sticking with the data. He's still primarily using extroverted sensing here. But because he's forming a meaning behind something which he doesn't really know when seeing this picture, is extroverted sensing helped by intuition, trying to understand what is going on with this tree. But here is the interesting part. When it says the tree was blown down, has new grown on it, so it's spring, not autumn. He's doing an introverted thinking here, was because he says he provide a logical explanation why it is spring and not autumn, in that the tree has new uh, blown that has new growth on it. So he's providing a logical statement basically towards the sense perception. So he's seeing something, and he's forming some meaning behind it because he's using sensing to describe what is being seen, which is a tree, and which has a new grown on it. But the blown down sentence is really his intuition coloring his senses. So it says it is spring, not autumn. But he's able to form a logical relationship between what is being seen. So this is extroverted sensing coupled with introverted thinking. We have to remember introverted thinking is about making decision. Introverted thinking as a decision making process, meaning it organizes information and make a conclusion and make a decision based on uh, organizing the data. And what data the introverted thinking is organizing is from his sense perception. He's an ISTP, he's a sensor. If it was a INTP, it would be more of organizing the intuition, which is about organizing possibilities and so on. But he's not doing this here. He's organizing what he's seeing, which is basically his sense perception is providing him, the data, the tree, and so on, based from his five senses. And he says here, the grass blades are still open, so this is sunset, not sunrise. Extroverted sensing coupled with introverted thinking. Perfect example. The grass blades are still open. He's right. It is still open. I personally didn't see that because I'm not using primary senses. I could if I would concentrate more. But this guy, obviously, sensing comes natural to this guy. So for him, it's an easy task to find details in a picture because that's what's come natural to him, basically. An intuition wouldn't do that. An intuition would find symbolic meaning in this picture and provide meaning which you can't really see. It's an idea, it's an abstract concept. But here he's still focused on the picture. The grass blade is still open, so he's describing something, extroverted sensing. So this is sunset, not sunrise. Logical, perfectly logical. I would love to go slugging through that in a Wallis. I'll skip through that one. I would bring a fishing pole and a freshwater to tackle box. Now, this is also a hard. I also maybe would like to skip that one, or maybe at least I can try to say that extroverted sensing is that they want to seek new experiences. All new experiences new, and not all experiences in a sense. They want to go where it's most exciting, and they want to find a way to experience the world and to engage with the environment and so on. So he said I would bring a fishing pole and freshwater tackle box. But here I have difficulty distinguishing his extroverted sensing. I know he says extroverted sensing that he wants to engage in experience and so on, but he's also I find a bit brainstorming here, which is extroverted intuition. So I'm not gonna make any conclusion based on that sentence. I'll leave it to for for later on maybe, and see what I will revisit this sentence and see what I can pull away from this. It says here, the horizon line has perfect distance, interspersed telegraph poles, so this is America. The horizon line has perfect distance. He's describing an extroverted sensing, interspersed telegraph poles, so this is America. This I would say is extroverted sensing coupled with introverted thinking and slight introverted sensing. I say slight introverted sensing is because, you know, for him to because he's comparing, you know, introverted sensing is about reliving something. The data provide a statement from the past and so on. But he says here, the horizon lies has perfect distance, extroverted sensing, interspersed telegraph poles, so this is America. But for him to even make the in a sense a conclusion that this is America, he had to have a verify this image of something which is introverted sensing. But we know this person is ISTP, so he's using primarily extroverted sensing and introverted thinking. But you can see how the function coloring his sense perception, how he's helping him to in a sense help his senses to understand the world. And that would make the horizon line in this peak either a train track or a street. That would make a horizon line in this peak either a train track or a street. He's trying to make a conclusion again, introverted thinking, from his sense perception. You know, based from what I have seen, I've organized the information, and from this organizing principle, I'll make a conclusion. And that's why ISTP, ESTP, and so on, they make good at. If you look at Discovery Channel and you see a person following the tracks of a lion or a tracks of a bear or so on, sometimes I wonder how did he actually see that is a track? I mean, for intuition it's more difficult because they are forming a relationship. They don't stay true to the physical appearance of something, but senses are do this. So for them it's very easy to find the minute distinction between the sense perception or the environment. So they can easily form a conclusion. You know, the snake was here maybe 5 days ago, or and you can see that the snake went this thing because you can see the leaf was forming this way and this way, and for intuition it's more difficult to do that because for them it's like, yeah, but it could have been many explanations, so on. But for sensing and thinking coupled together, you can't make this logical deduction of what is being seen. So this is a really good example. And this guy, you know, takes this further on. He says that would make the horizon line is peak either train track or street. The tall tree is a white poplar, so this is about zone 7. You know, poplar is a type of tree that exists in certain places. So from that you can make, you know, the logical. He can make a conclusion that because of this tree is a white poplar, you know, the fact, the sense is this is about zone 7. And so you can see how much data SETI or ISTP can get from when they are out there and see the world. They can get so much data which is often not even talked about, because introverted thinking is an internalized process, and so they are not really saying often what they are actually seeing, but you can already see how much information they're seeing is crazy, is really remarkable. It said temperate, there are no tidal bore marking, and polars don't like salt, so it looks more like lake, pond, and estuary. Extroverted sensing, introverted thinking, and it will be clear tomorrow. Red sky at night, shepherd's delight. This is extroverted sensing, introverted thinking, coupled with introverted intuition, because now he's starting projecting towards the future. But obviously, he's not doing it based on nothing. You know, introverted or intuition is towards seeing something that can be or will be. He says it will be clear tomorrow. Red sky at night spreads a shepherd's light. Obviously, it's still not pure intuition in that, um, because he's not coming from nowhere. he's used his introverted thinking here. Because we already see him from his previous sentences. He's using a lot of thinking. So him coming to this conclusion is not really based on nothing, So I would still say that this is extroverted sensing TI colored with NI. It is a low enough pressure zone to allow for the rain bearing clouds, high enough that will be pushed away in some away soon. The wind is traveling west where the pressure is low. I don't see bird in this picture, and that is really unusual in the setting. When you meet ISTP or ESTP or so on, sensor, they always comment on the environment. Not always, but they tend to comment on the environment, and they tend to notice weather. They for them weather is important. Today is raining, today is sunny, and so on, because they are in tune to their environment, and so the weather becomes important. So they are interested, the pressure and the pressure and the wind and all this everything that could be provided with their senses, and so they are really good at seeing the environment for how it is. And for example, if they see a car, for example, an intuition could see a car, and they could, for example, you know think, oh, this car represents power. Intuition are not focused on the details, they are focused on what thing represent, and so on. But in sensing is different. When they see the car, they will see the car, and they can see this is maybe a red car. It has a lot of is getting rusty. They can see the texture. They can sort of touch the car. It's so present to them. It's so immediate to them. It's so powerful to them in that sense that they can, in their mind, touch the car and be in the car and so on. So that's really sensing, in a differentiated form. It's when all your psychic energy is towards that function, that you can concentrate on the immediate environment. So I'm gonna stop there. I might revisit this writing later on and maybe reanalyze it, but for now I think it was okay, and I think it's for me it's important to get the message across. I think for the sensing and so on, but like I said, this is a practice thing, and it's not always easy to to make a conclusion. But this one is a bit more easier because I already know this person's ISTP, so I had a starting point. And sometimes if you don't have a starting point, it can be a bit more difficult. But the consciousness are not gonna lie. When they write something or they say something or see something, the consciousness will stay true to its consciousness. You will know what consciousness they are using. So I'm gonna stop there, and thank you for now.